When I was 17, I got pregnant with my son Nasiah. I was living with my aunt, and when I told her I was pregnant, she told me that I couldn't have a child and stay in her household.
My mom was on drugs. I got kicked out, so
My parents said kick me out. I was basically like, they set a restraining order on me, so I couldn't go 100 feet near my house. And like, some days I had to stay out the streets all night.
Most of the time, it isn't the youth's fault, the position they're put in. Like, I was an excellent kid. I went to school every day, and I got good grades, excellent grades. I participated, I volunteered, but I still had a messed up life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't my fault.
my mother was incarcerated in 2009. Me and my uncle got into a physical altercation due to his intoxication, and he put me out like 3 o'clock in the morning. No cell phone, nowhere to go, nothing to do. So I kind of like slept in the hallway, for like a whole night. The toughest thing about being homeless is when your friends say, "Joy, can I come over?" I'm like, no. And I practically live in this fantasy world at school because there's no way I'll tell my friends, my teachers, or anyone that I interact with. That's pretty embarrassing for me when someone asks me, "Who do you go home with?" I'm going to fib and say, "I go home to my uncle." I'm not going to tell them where I'm really going because it takes a bit of your dignity, not just your pride, not just, your energy at the moment, but it takes away your energy, period, that you don't have a support system at home.
The hardest part is not knowing where you're going to go, like the next day, not knowing like what's your next step, like where you're going to be.
If you're going to someone else's house or you're going to a little area in the bush or wherever it is that you're going to go crash at for the night, you have to deal with everyone else's issues, and it's a spontaneous environment and you never know what's going to happen, and that gives you a really dreadful stress. And it's like when I'm at school, I try not to think about it, but when that bell rings and I know my activities are all over, I'm like, what am I about to walk into? I don't know. I'll find out when I get there.
Sometimes I don't eat every day. Sometimes I don't really eat. Like, majority, basically, I only eat one meal per day. I only can eat breakfast sometimes, or maybe even lunch, but I always skip dinner.
I knew a few people that, like, they end up on the streets and they end up or turn to violence because they didn't know what to do. They was just trying to make a quick buck to have a shelter over their head.
If you out in the streets, you're gonna get in trouble. Like, you have nowhere to go, you're gonna go and do something stupid. Selling drugs and fighting, and if you sleeping on the streets, you gotta worry about somebody stealing your stuff, and it's just a lot. Girls, prostitutes, and just unnecessary stuff that can be involved if they had somewhere to go.
Sometimes it put fear because when you're out there, you could be like in the wrong area, and then it's like people start trying to pick on you and they will try to do a lot of stuff gang members do. They'll come at you.
It's sad because a lot of the young men where I live at, they get locked up every winter, like because it's a guaranteed place to sleep, eat, shower, stuff like that. They don't, and then by the time they want to get a job, they can't because they have so many charges. But the whole time, maybe they just needed somewhere to stay at. But because there's nowhere for them to go, it's like the type of decisions that you have to make to be able to lay your head somewhere. It's crazy.
Tengo una cama y sí, cuando tú no tienes una cama, tú no tú no puedes pensar bien a dónde vas a ir tú no sabes a dónde vas a ir a dormir, tú no sabes nada, pues.
Beds, you asking about beds right now? I can't tell the last time I slept on a bed. Like, for real, I've been with my friends, but I have to sleep on floors every day.